Coming up on Bloom, how to safely use popular weight loss drugs.
So it does need to be managed by a certified medical provider who knows how to titrate the dose while you're getting on the medication.
And a laser that repairs skin without the pain.
Use numbing cream. Usually that's all people need, and just a fan to chill the skin. But by the next day, you're back to wearing makeup and your old self.
Plus, how less is more when it comes to makeup for older women. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. Today we're helping you turn back time, and millions of Americans are trying to do that by losing weight, using breakthrough weight loss drugs on the market, going back to a weight they could only achieve in their youth. But is the Ozempic craze safe? Joining me now to weigh in is the owner of the Aesthetics Lab, Dr. Pina Panchal. Dr. Panchal, it's so great to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the class of drugs. What exactly are they?
Right, so the class of drugs, you may have heard Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, they're all GLP-1 medications, right? So they work by stimulating a natural hormone we already create in our body. And that by stimulating that, we are essentially suppressing our appetite because there's higher levels of that hormone in our system. So that helps to control the appetite. And then they also slow down the movement of food through our GI tract. So that's an additional way we help control the appetite.
Now, as everybody knows, these weight loss drugs are growing hugely in popularity. The big concern is you need to go to a trusted doctor or healthcare provider, because if not administered safely, you know, they could work against you.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing I say. Sometimes people think weight loss meds, oh, they're not a big deal. It's an actual medication. We use this medication to treat very serious diseases like diabetes, mellitus, and so on. And so it does need to be managed by a certified medical provider who knows how to titrate the dose while you're getting on the medication, but also titrate you off the medication properly so you don't have rebound effects, rebound weight gain. So it is very important to see a proper medical provider.
And to also know, like, you know, what foods to eat, to how to, like, manage your weight loss alongside the drug, because I've also heard you really should be upping your protein so you don't lose muscle mass.
Right, so it's sometimes a false sense of security that, oh, I'll be on the medication, I'll lose weight no matter what. We do want patients to make lifestyle adjustments, right? Look at the nutrition, whether they're exercising or not. So all of those factors are important so you do get a better outcome from being on the medication.
What's really surprising to me is the number of doctors like yourself that have come on this show, highly respected doctors, and talked about the health benefits of being on this drug, even more so than just for diabetics.
Absolutely. All the new research that's coming out is so promising. There was actually a new trial that came out, the SELECT trial, and it showed that the semaglutide or other like medications are actually helping coronary vascular disease, stroke, fatal heart attacks, and even some of the newest literature is showing it's good for kidney disease. So there's so much promising stuff. So in addition to the weight loss, it's actually has really good health benefits too.
All right, so let's talk. I know I've gotten a lot of questions from viewers that are concerned that, hey, this drug just simply stopped working for me. Does that happen?
It can. So there is a plateauing that happens. So it's important, that's why that you see a proper provider, because you do have to be titrated up correctly. If you titrate too fast, you will plateau, and then you sort of lose out on the chance of losing more weight than you probably could have, right? So the dose does need to be adjusted very carefully based on how much weight loss is happening every week. So if you are plateauing, we may need to restart. We may need to watch how we titrate your dose. It may need to go slower, but yes, plateauing can happen. It just has to be managed carefully.
And you mentioned earlier, but let's deep dive into it a little bit. You also have to know how to titrate off this so you keep the weight loss goals.
Right. The biggest mistake is just stopping the medication abruptly. You will have a rebound weight gain. So it is important to slowly, just like you titrate up, titrate the patient down. Also, consider a maintenance plan with them. It is meant to be more of a chronic medication. It's not meant to be a short fix. So maybe titrating down to injecting yourself once a week to once a month. And some women even stay on it as maintenance just because there's so many factors that are involved in their weight gain, hormones, and things like that. So it might benefit them to actually stay on it. It also helps the heart too, so it's kind of nice to stay on a maintenance dose.
Yeah, I am reading more and more articles about the long-term use of this, especially how it can help women specifically, because we do have a tough time as we age managing our blood sugar levels. It doesn't happen as naturally as it did in our youth.
Correct. And a lot of times, by the time women come to see me at in their 40s and 50s, they've tried everything. They work out, they try to eat healthy, and they're just having trouble with that last bit of weight loss. And so adjusting this medication, using it with lifestyle modifications and stuff, and keeping a maintenance dose really helps bring them to that place where they feel confident, but keeps that weight off.
Yeah, very interesting. Any misconceptions that people need to be aware of?
Yeah, it's not an easy fix, right? There does need to be some sort of personal lifestyle changes that have to happen at home. You do need to work out. You do need to eat healthy, like we said. You do need to control your portion sizes. In addition, it's, like I said, it's a real medication. You do need to see a proper provider so it's managed carefully.
Now, have you ever had patients that just can't handle the nausea side of it?
So typically, a little mild nausea can happen, but if you are being titrated correctly and not too fast, really those symptoms don't present as much. If you do get nausea and stuff, oftentimes when I talk to my patients, they'll follow with, I did eat something I shouldn't have, or I did overeat. So we can manage those symptoms. We shouldn't require other prescriptions to manage them if we are titrating you properly.
And I'm glad you mentioned what you're eating because, again, you're digesting slower. So if you're eating things that you're not agreeing with your body, that's staying in there a lot longer. So interesting to know. Hey, this has been a fascinating conversation. We really appreciate it when you join us on Bloom.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to share Dr. Penchal's advice on BloomTampaBay.com. And when we come back, a new laser on the market that wipes away years without the downtime and long healing process. Bloom will be right back. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Tampa Bay Total Wellness.
Welcome back. There's a way to up your skincare routine and turn back time. Here to tell us about Moxie and how it works is a leader in the anti-aging space, age management specialist, Tammy Oberbreckling with Tampa Bay Total Wellness. It's so good to see you.
You too, Gayle.
So tell me about Moxie. What is it? How does it work?
So Moxie's a laser. So we have ablative lasers where it takes off the whole surface of your skin. There's a lot of downtime, and now we have a non-ablative laser called Moxie that will prejuvenate your skin.
So when you say prejuvenate, what does that mean?
So it's fascinating. So it'll burn these micro channels into the skin. Those will be called mens when they come off, and those micro channels cause the body to reheal itself. And when it does that, it brings collagen, gets rid of fine lines, wrinkles, firms up the skin, and reverses the process of sun damage.
Now, how comfortable is the Moxie treatment? Because that's what a lot of men and women want to know.
So there are procedures that aren't comfortable.
Right,
like
I've had them.
You buy a package and you never go back.
Exactly.
So this is not like that. So we use numbing cream. Usually that's all people need, and just a fan to chill the skin. And you may feel like you have a sunburn for about an hour, but by the next day you're back to wearing makeup and your old self.
So there's not a lot of downtime at all from what you're saying?
Nope, you just might appear red the next day.
And how long does it take to see results?
3 to 5 days. Those mens we talked about will actually come to the surface, darken. Your skin will feel rough, almost like you have whiskers, and then they'll slough off, and then you'll have your new beautiful skin.
Is there any post-care that patients need to take?
We ask them to wear a moisturizing sunscreen and stay out of the sun a week prior and a week after.
Okay, and how many treatments would a person need?
So it really depends on your consult and what we're trying to obtain. The initial time you may need 3 to 4 treatments just to get to the skin to the baseline. but a lot of people are using the Moxie 2 to 3 times a year just to keep their skin from aging.
Yeah, and I think more and more people are looking for these types of solutions. And then, of course, you're bringing in the latest and greatest when it comes to technology. But if you stay on top of this treatment protocol, it'll stave off having to do something way more invasive.
Correct, and we do the more invasive lasers. We have all of them, and we found a need for a laser that was kind of in between, where somebody could get the results of a big ablative laser without having the downtime, and that's where Moxie falls in.
Yeah, because an ablative laser, you're down for quite a while.
5 days to 21 days, depending on how aggressive we treat you.
And this one is you're back at work in your regular makeup the next day.
Yes.
And then you say the sloughing happens about 5 days into it.
It does, but people don't notice that you have this roughness to the skin. It's more yourself. You'll feel your skin, but it's not visible. It's easily covered with makeup.
Okay, that's really good to know. Well, you guys are the leaders in anti-aging here in the Tampa Bay area. I know this is just one of the many treatment options that you guys have available.
Yes.
All right, Tammy, it's such a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Gail.
All right, call Tampa Bay Total Wellness at 813-609-4150 or 1-888-8-AGE-WELL for a Bloom special offer. Get a BBL Hero plus Moxie for just $550 when you mention Bloom TV. That's an $1,100 value. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Tampa Bay Total Wellness.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. The centuries-old practice of fermenting foods is rapidly becoming a modern-day health trend. Joining me now with the health benefits and how to ferment your foods is Chef Oliver Farrell. Chef Oliver, it's so great to see you again.
Great to see you as well, Gail.
So fermenting foods is hugely popular now because we're finding out more about our gut health, and this is a key contributor to good gut health.
Exactly, that's correct.
So what do we do to ferment foods?
Well, basically,
ferment?
yeah, I mean, you can say it however you like. It's the same thing. So basically what you're doing is creating it's called a SCOBY, and it's a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast. And you can have that in a vinegar, you can have that in a pickle, you can have that really in a beer, you can have that in anything you really want, but that's going to do the fermentation. So that's going to eat the sugars, create alcohol. When the alcohol goes away, now you have, say, vinegar. If you want to make bread, you could keep it a little, you just feed it until it's ready to make bread. You get a sourdough. And then pickles, I mean, that's pretty quick, takes like 7 days. So we'll start with the pickles, right?
Okay.
So when you're choosing cucumbers, you want to find ones that have bumps on them. Lots of bumps, and then
I never knew that. I never knew how to pick my cucumbers.
So these are called Kirby cucumbers.
Okay.
And they're pretty popular, like commercially, for making pickles, just because of the way they absorb the brine.
Okay.
They stay really crispy. So yeah, I mean, you want lots of bumps, you want it to be smooth, you don't want wrinkles, and then
Having
another
the
thing,
bumps is beneficial for what?
it's a good sign that it hasn't been beaten around, tossed up in like boxes and stuff like that. So this is like, straight from the farm pretty much.
Perfect.
So that's what you're looking for is as far as freshness and the type of cucumber. Now for the brine, we've got salt water, and I do 4%. So pretty much if you have 100 grams of water, you're gonna do 4 grams of salt.
Okay, but with the device over there you have is like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
This is pretty simple. This is a pretty old piece of equipment. Yeah.
You look like you're Breaking Bad right about now.
No, this is like really old. So basically this is a airlock, and what it does is it keeps everything. So when it bubbles, like in this, you have bubbles coming up when it starts. It keeps the bubbles going out, but nothing getting in.
Okay, so can I get one of those on Amazon?
Yeah, you can get this on Amazon. You can probably get it at Walmart. I mean, there's plenty of places you could get these at.
Okay.
So it's pretty common piece of kit. You don't even need it. So like I'll show you over here later on with that.
Okay.
There isn't an airlock, so you don't necessarily need it. So to start our pickles, we'll take some aromatics. I've got a bunch of dill.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna break that in half. Stick that all the way in the bottom.
All right.
And you want to put all the small things at the bottom so that way they don't float to the top. Because you really, when things float to the top, they start to spoil, and you don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So we've got some garlic cloves.
And you're
with
just
the
throwing it
peel.
right in there with the peel.
Right on.
See, I'm
with the
loving
peel.
this because this is easy. It's
Straightforward. You could even just take the whole clove
and just
cut
drop
it
that
in half.
in.
Yep.
But
you
this
could
is
do
just
that.
for a little added flavor.
So when you crush it, it releases what's called allicin. And allicin is a compound that has a lot of like sulfur-like things in it. So that's why it's so pungent when you crush garlic.
Okay.
It's like in your face. But that's what has like a lot of anti-inflammatory properties and stuff like that. It's really good for your health, really good for your gut. And then in the fermentation, when you leave the peel, there's a lot of bacteria, good bacteria, that's on these peels. So it just kind of transfers into the brine and helps it go a little quicker.
Okay. This is really interesting, to be honest with you.
Well, I really like doing all this, honestly. It's one of my favorite things, fermentation, because it really is like such an age-old practice, and it has, you know, stood the test of time,
Yeah,
right?
it really has.
So we have all that in there. We need something tannic. Now, when you
Okay.
say tannic, it's like when you drink wine and it like, it's almost dry in
Right.
your mouth. Normally, people use bay leaves, mustard seed, sometimes grape leaves. We have a lot of oak trees here, so I'm going to use oak leaves. And I literally
You just picked it off an oak tree at
right
your
in my
neighbor's
front
house?
yard, right in
oh,
my
in
front
your front yard.
Exactly. So you just throw like maybe 2 or 3, because these are very tannic.
Okay.
If you use a bunch of them, it's going to make the
Too
pickles
tannic.
too tannic, almost bitter-like.
Okay.
So that's all we need for that. Now we're going to put the cucumbers.
All
And
right.
when you do this part, make some space here so you can
Okay.
see. You want to make sure that you stack them evenly.
Okay. So there's a placement protocol here.
Ideally,
right.
you can kind of just go willy-nilly, but the thing is you're not going to be able to get as many in there, and it takes a while to make these, so you know, you want to have as many as possible.
Okay. So if you're willy-nilly, you're not getting as many pickles in there as possible.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're stacking them in there. I like this.
Nice and neat, just rolling
Okay.
it around so that you can get every little
I like this. Now I
spot.
want to get one of these gadgets.
It's really, really fun.
And this would be so my kids would love this because they love pickles, as do I.
Well, when you make them yourself, honestly, it's nice because you know what you like in a pickle in terms of like the flavor profile and whatnot, and you can make it exactly like that, right? So what we do is with the top one, we pick one that can kind of keep everything down.
Okay.
So that way when we pour this brine over, you'll see nothing will float up. Hopefully. Something might float
Okay.
up, but we'll see.
All right. And here comes the water. Is it distilled water? Any specific water?
This is spring water
Okay.
with 4% salt. So I put 3,000 grams, so 3 liters of water, and it's 4% salt concentration. So basically, that would be 120 grams of salt. So you could take, if you wanted to do this in a small batch, you could say 100 grams of water for a tiny little jar, and that's 4 grams of salt.
Okay.
That's all you would need.
All right.
But you can, you know, bulk that up as much as you want. So now we've got all that in there. We'll put this on. You can see that the only thing that's floating is a little bit of dill, but that's okay. That's not going to be a problem.
Okay. And then my new gadget that I just drop shipped, thank you, Jeff Bezos, from Amazon, it goes where?
Cool, dry, dark place.
Okay. All right.
7 to 10 days. When it's, you know, to your liking, you take it out, and it'll last in the fridge for, you know, up to 4 to 6 months. You're probably going to eat them before that happens, though.
Okay.
So after that, they kind of look like this. They're a
they
little
look
bit
good.
darker in color. You'll see it absorbed a lot of the liquid. So I'll cut it in half so you can see that.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm sad because even though my producer, Sarah Smith, extended, because this is so interesting, we can't get to this wine vinegar, so we're going to have you come back and do it again, the strawberry wine vinegar.
I guess I'll have to come back.
Okay,
No
all right,
problem.
so that's the deal, but can I taste this for now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see where it sort
All
of
right.
kind of got in there.
It's good
so just
stuff.
cut a little piece off.
All
You
right.
can hear it probably in the mic.
Crunch. It's so good. Chef Oliver shared a step-by-step so you can ferment pickles at home. Head to bloomtampabay.com to find the recipe. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Bloom. One way women can turn back time as we age is embracing a more natural look when it comes to applying makeup. Joining me now is beauty editor Donna Francis. Donna, it is great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So, of course, here on air, I wear a lot more makeup than I do in real life, but I found as I age, I barely use, I'm using tinted moisturizers, maybe just a little bit of setting powder. It makes a difference.
So much, and I think also the products that you use, you need to have some with skincare benefits, because the whole thing is less is more. The more you put on actually sometimes accentuates what you don't want to accentuate. I find if you're piling on lots of creams, then lots of powders, you're actually piling all those products into your wrinkles, and that can accentuate them even more.
So talk to me about how to embrace this trend.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I've never worn a lot of makeup. You need to prep the skin at first. You need to really make sure you cleanse properly, apply a serum, a moisturizer with an SPF, and then you put your base on afterwards. That's really going to help your skin glow, because it's all about that glowing look, I feel.
And so are there any things that, so when you say prep your skin, how are you prepping it?
So I always use a serum, because a serum is a skin caring product that's going to deliver the ingredients deep down into your skin. So vitamin C is great for really brightening your skin, and then you'll follow with a moisturizer, because that's going to lock everything, all that goodness underneath, and that's going to really help your skin be primed for makeup and give you that light and lifted glow.
I love it. And then you say, you know, part of this is just embracing aging, which for many of us, including myself, it can be difficult to do.
I get it. It's really, really hard, and I really try through my work to empower women to feel comfortable in the skin that they are in. It's always, for me, it's about looking the best that you are right now, not necessarily trying to look like you was 20 years ago, because look, let's face it, it's a kind of uphill battle. So it's really just trying to embrace the age that you are and feel lucky. You know, aging is a privilege, isn't it? So
yes.
I feel like you need to focus on the positives on your face. When you look in the mirror, don't moan about the wrinkle that's popped up overnight. Think, oh, actually, you know, my skin's looking great today. Let's just give it a bit of a glow with a nice creamy blusher and a nice lipstick, and then you're off.
So instead of being super obvious about it, we're trying to like wipe away time, you're saying just enhance what you've got going on. Work with what you've got.
Definitely. And makeup artists that I've worked for always say, you know, are you a lip or are you an eye person? What mood are you in? And just accentuate what you want to show off, really. But just don't go overboard, because then that will just make your face look, I don't know, too overdone, and I think you can just go that little bit too far. Make your skin glow with gorgeous creamy blushes and BB and CC creams that really accentuate your skin texture.
And then also, you know, what we're consuming really matters as well. Staying hydrated, especially with the summer months ahead of us. I mean, there's so much that we can do for cutting down on the drinking.
Oh,
that's going to make
massively.
you look a lot younger. There's so many other things that you can do to kind of embrace youth without being, you know, fanatical.
Yeah, and I think, you know, not to be too obsessed, but you're right with the whole holistic, you know, thinking about what you're drinking. I think when women hit menopause especially, their liver slows down and you just can't convert that alcohol as quickly. So it shows on your skin. Your skin is your biggest organ, but it's always the last one that gets all the nutrients. So you're gonna feel and look worse than you did when you were in your 20s if you drink too much the night before. So lots of water, lots and lots of water.
Yeah, the more you hydrate, the better. Any other final advice for aging and the mindset?
As I said, I think a big thing for me is just trying to focus on the positive. Also, don't believe everything you see online. There are so many filters out there, and often women will overly filter their pictures, and then when they see other women in real life, they realise that actually what they're seeing is not real. Even celebrities, they do it hugely. That's why I love Pamela Anderson, what she's doing at the moment. She's really paring back with her makeup, and she's showing real skin, what real skin actually looks like. And I think that kind of empowers us to realise that we don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I like it. And you're seeing more and more stars showing themselves in a more raw form and being okay with it. And that kind of inspires the rest of us to be okay with it too.
Definitely, 100%.
All right. Well, it's always such a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Gayle.
And we're going to share Donna's advice on bloomtampabay.com And before we go to break, it's time for today's Bloom trivia question. True or false, topical products are just as effective as injectables? We'll have the answer later on Bloom. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Pelvic floor health is a critical aspect of a woman's overall well-being. Joining me now with what you need to know is pelvic floor physical therapist Dr. Marcy Crouch, also known as the Down There Doc. Dr. Marcy, it's so great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love our chat.
So, Dr. Marcy, talk to me about some pelvic floor issues that women, especially new moms, might be experiencing that are common or maybe not so common.
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's actually a huge problem. 1 in 3 women over the age of 20 will experience a pelvic floor dysfunction. And this can range anywhere from leaking urine or stool, painful intercourse or tampon use, for example, or pelvic organ prolapse, which is where the organs sit a little bit lower in the vaginal canal. And it can affect every aspect of a woman's life, not just physical health, but also mental health. We see a higher increase in postpartum depression and anxiety if a woman is leaking urine during her pregnancy, which I feel like everybody does. And it can affect them throughout postpartum, not just that first 6 weeks.
Yeah, and what I think you're so popular on social media platforms is because you have real talk with women about what's going on, urging them to get treatment, because the ramifications of not properly treating and reversing some of these issues can be pretty dramatic.
It can, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of prevention or the idea of even like reducing the risk of pelvic floor injury during pregnancy or postpartum. And that's really what we're trying to change, is that we're looking at birth, pregnancy, early postpartum as this athletic event, because it is. Your muscles and your body are going through these amazing changes, and we really need to be thinking about it like we think about preventing injury in our soccer players, for example. So if we can reduce the risk of pelvic floor injury or birth trauma, then we can see better outcomes down the road, and then the whole holistic kind of health of a woman is improved.
I want to talk about the video that we were just looking at. I understand that pelvic rehabilitation, actually, I saw you there going through movements with an expectant mom. This is like the new normal, out with the Kegels, in with whatever this is.
Yeah, yeah, what is this? Yeah, I love that. We were talking earlier. Kegels are so last season. So yeah, we have to think about what our body needs to do during labor and delivery. And that baby has to come out. So we need to use movements and gravity and different types of positions to facilitate that in a way that is most protective for the pelvic floor. And that's what you saw there in the video. That's an early labor technique to help the baby engage in the pelvis, decrease pain. You know, in physical therapy, we're so nerdy. We say, you know, motion is lotion. And we really want to encourage movement versus just like a stationary laying on your back. Baby has to go uphill against gravity.
Now, what about the woman who might be out there who's older, past childbearing years, that might be thinking, hey, you know, that ship has sailed for me. If somebody makes me laugh too hard, I'm going to pee. I mean, is that true, or is it never too late to jump on board with your pelvic health?
Yeah, I love this question. It's never too late, and it's never too early, in my opinion. So think about the muscles like you would think about any other muscle in your body. Strengthening fitness, motor control, range of motion. The more we can load and work it, the better. And in my opinion, postpartum is forever. It's not 6 weeks, it's not 8 weeks, it's not when your kids are 10, it's forever. And we see these issues start postpartum and then go all the way through menopause, to where, you know, we're starting maybe with thin liners, pads, going to diapers, and it should be the other way around. We should be weaning off of these products that we need, because we'll be actually treating the dysfunction. So never too late. My oldest patient, I think, was in her 90s. I saw her daughter, I saw her granddaughter, I saw the whole family. So never too late. And you don't have to live with it. And that's like, I think, such an important message. It's so uncomfortable for so many women.
Yeah, you know, it was crazy. I was watching one of your social media reels, and you were talking about the number of women at a young age that have to wear diapers. And you're like, we should not be relegated to wearing diapers. And you have tips and advice on how to improve your pelvic floor health.
Yeah, we do. We share a lot of information on our social media and through our programs. And I think it's so important to be truthful and honest about your body and not be ashamed of it. And I think about pelvic floor muscles just like any other PT would think about a shoulder or a leg. I mean, whatever the case may be, we need to be healthy and making sure our pelvic floor muscles are working at all stages of life. And if you're experiencing any of the symptoms, leaking, pain, prolapse, constipation, that's a sign that something is not working correctly. And let's try to figure it out. It's not like, oh, just, like put a pad on or like take some fiber. Like, let's see what's actually wrong, if anything, and what we can do to help that in a conservative, effective, safe way.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the stigma out of having these conversations and making it real talk between women, because we really need help and guidance. So we appreciate you, Dr. Marcy.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me share the story. And I always love talking with you, Gayle.
Likewise, likewise. And we're going to share Dr. Marcy's advice on BloomTampaBay.com. And coming up on Bloom, how working out and weight training can reverse aging. We'll be right back. Research shows exercise can work at the cellular level to help turn back the hands of time. Here with the anti-aging benefits of exercise is the Happy Healthy Human Coach, Michelle Cuff. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Again, we're twinning.
Yes.
On purpose.
That's right. We're wearing our, I think it's called a onesie.
Okay, we're wearing our onesies. This was a gift from Michelle, so I like to wear it when she's here.
You can't leave me alone.
You're right. So talk to me about the anti-aging benefits of lifting and exercise.
Right. So turning back time, definitely, if we want to turn back the clock, so to speak, we know that exercise is definitely going to do that. So I wanted to talk first about inside. Obviously, we're building muscle, which muscle is the organ of longevity. Experts agree the more muscle mass we have, the more we're going to live, the longer life. And your heart is a muscle, so, building that muscle. Bone density, osteoporosis, all those things are going to turn back the clock. Lifting weights is going to help with balance. So as we get older, we don't want to be off balance, all those types of things. So those are easy, those are inside. But since we're going to do some weights today, we want to turn back the clock. We all want to look better.
Right.
Okay, so aesthetically, we want to turn back the clock. And as women and men too, we all, as we're aging, we want to look good. So we can all agree on that. Well, weight training definitely can transform your body.
And don't worry, ladies, you're not going to bulk up, I
no,
promise.
Oh my gosh, no, I can't even hear that. Okay?
Right.
I've been trying to bulk up for years and it's just not happening, okay? So what I want to do is I want to start at the top, and aesthetically, I want to go over some exercises that I think really shape your body, okay? So we want to start first with shoulders, because I personally think beautiful rounded shoulders, when someone walks in a room, whether it be a man or a woman, beautiful shoulders, you look confident, it's a good start to your physique, okay? So I want you to pick up your dumbbells there.
All right.
We've got two exercises. So the first one is called the Arnold press, which is after Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold.
I'll be back.
So we're going to rack them, palms are going to face in. So as you come up, Gayle, you're going to turn them. And then as you come down, you twist them back down. So rotating them as you come up, rotating them as you come down. Keep your abs in tight and just try not to bounce or anything. It's all shoulder. So this is a good one. And I didn't go too heavy on us today, but we can definitely go heavier here. That's a great one for your shoulders. All right, that hits all three heads of the shoulder. So the next one is called a lateral raise. It's going to get those beautiful caps. So what you want to do is, we don't want to come straight out. We want to bend forward just a little bend in your elbows, and you're going to lateral raise. So just to that shoulder height and back down. Right there,
and you're not supposed to swing. You're supposed to be deliberate.
No swinging, and do not go super fast. I want you to really kind of just take your time. Smooth on the way up, smooth on the way down. You don't want to rush through these exercises. Mind to muscle connection, and you'll feel that one right away. One more. All right. All right, so we're moving on next to the triceps.
Okay.
So keep your weights, Gayle. Hold on, keep
Okay.
them. I just want to show. So right here, this kind of ties into your shoulders. Triceps are right back here, and they also make your arms look beautiful. So I've got 2 exercises for that. So the first one is called an overhead extension. You're going to stick these things together, bring them up. Now, elbows in, and you're going to come back and back up. So hitting back, keeping those elbows locked in. So you don't want to have your elbows poking out. You want them locked in, straight back and straight up. Do you feel that?
I feel it.
All right, now we're going to hit a kickback. So just like we're saying kickback, I'll turn to the side. You're going to bend forward just a little bit, kick them suckers back. So again, elbows pinned to your side, abs in, try not to swing the body, and just kicking back. Feel that?
Yes.
Of course you do. You better say yes.
Of course I
All
I
right.
really do.
So the tricep. Okay, so now we're going to set these down. The next thing I want to work is your back.
Okay.
So back is a huge muscle group. When you have a strong back and lats, it's going to give the illusion of a small waist, which Gayle does not need that illusion. She's got it.
Need it.
So this is called a bent over row.
Okay.
So you're going to bend over, grab that bar. Now you're going to stay there and you're going to pull it up. So I want you to come down and stay here. You're going to stay locked in this position. Now pull that bar up.
Oh.
Bend over row. That's it right there. Try to tip a little more. Keep your abs in. Big pull. There you go. Perfect. So this is getting all your back here, the lat muscles. When you build that back again, you're going to get that really tapered waist with a strong back. And ladies, you will not bulk up, I promise you. You can go heavy here. Perfect. Or you can set that down. All right, so we're moving on now to what the ladies love, legs. So I love legs, love to work legs. I have 2 dedicated days a week for just legs. I've got 2 variations of a deadlift today, so I'm going to show you and then you're going to try it, okay?
All right.
So the first one is a Romanian deadlift. So butt back,
Okay.
abs in, your chest is puffed out. You're just going to keep the bar close to your body. You're going to bring it down and up. This is going to get your glutes, your hamstrings. Just let the legs do all the work, okay? I want you to try that one.
All right, and while I'm doing this, you can watch this workout on bloomtampabay.com, and we're gonna have Michelle come back and teach me the other
Yeah,
butt lift.
we're missing one.
We'll
but
be back. Don't go away.
That's perfect.
A huge consignment event is happening in Tampa Bay. Here to share how recycling through reselling is one of the easiest and most effective ways to love our planet is the CEO of Just Between Friends, Tracy Panase. Tracy, welcome to Bloom.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this is exciting. A big event is actually happening right now at the fairgrounds, happening all weekend long. Tell me about it.
Yes, so Just Between Friends, we are a children's and maternity consignment sales event, and as we know, our kids grow fast, and so this is an opportunity for local families to take items that their kids have either outloved or outgrown and be able to sell those items so they're able to make some money back, and then another family is able to purchase those same items at anywhere from 50 to 90% less than retail. So as you said, in addition to them saving in their pocketbook, they're also saving the planet because they're keeping these items out of landfills.
Yeah, let's talk about just how impactful just buying something used just once, no less, recycling it and upselling it to somebody else.
Yeah, the Environmental Protection Agency estimates that if each American just buys one item resale, it is the equivalent of taking 75 million cars off the road each day. So the impact on our planet is huge. And in addition, 85% of Americans say that they throw away clothing. And so as we know as parents, our kids are growing so fast. And so they're outgrowing their wardrobe 2 or 3 times a year when they're between the ages of 0 and 5. And so this is just a way, again, to not only save a lot of money by buying things resale, excellent quality items, but also do our part into sustainability.
Yeah, and I do love the fact that, you pointed out that they grow up so fast.
Yeah.
As we were putting out the little items that you brought here to share with us today, I'm like, Wow, it seems like just yesterday my daughters were wearing dresses like this. So if you go out to the sale, you're going to find very gently used items that will look beautiful on your children.
Yes, and you're so right. I mean, parents know that kids outgrow their stuff before they use it, you know. And so what parents can expect to find at the Florida State Fairgrounds this weekend is clothing for spring and summer. So bathing suits, shorts, swimsuits, all the things, as well as toys, books, games, puzzles, basically everything they need to clothe and entertain their children. And it's not just babies, it's all the way up to teenagers.
Oh, that's really good to know. So I know the event is happening already right now. Again, it runs through this weekend. Can you bring things to consign now, or is it too late for that?
Right now, our sellers have already dropped off their items,
Okay.
so we inspect those items to make sure that they're clean, complete, and current. We don't sell anything that's been recalled, so that process has already taken place. So we invite families to come out to the fairgrounds, check out the event, and then as you're shopping and looking around and thinking, hey, I have a lot of these items too, we will be back again in October. So this is an event that happens twice a year. We're thrilled to be back in Tampa so that we can serve families. And really our mission is to help parents say yes to all the things that they might not otherwise be able to afford.
I like that, and it is good to say yes now, especially with the economy like it is. I mean, people are still experiencing the pinch from inflation, so this is a great idea. Thank you so much for coming on Bloom and sharing it with our viewers today.
My pleasure, thank you.
All right, and the Just Between Friends Spring and Summer Sale, again, it's happening right now at the Florida State Fairgrounds, but again, it runs through this weekend, so you have plenty of time to get out and enjoy. We're going to put everything that you need to know on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. It's time for this week's Bloom Boost. Health news you might have missed this week. A large cross-sectional study found that avocados may reduce diabetes risks in females. But oddly, there was no significant association shown in males. The study found females who ate 30 to 38 grams of avocados had significantly lower odds of diabetes than those who did not consume avocados. Experts believe it's the combo of fiber and unsaturated fat found in avocados that play a role in diabetes risk reduction. Well, it's time now for today's Bloom Trivia question. True or false? Topical products are as effective as injectables. The answer is false. According to an article in Real Simple, injectables like Botox and fillers are in a league of their own. While topical products can help subtly firm and plump the skin, they can only do so much. The article went on to read, injectables administered by a professional can temporarily paralyze the muscles that form wrinkles, but injectables can't impact skin texture or tone. That is where a good skin routine comes into play. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And don't forget to check out our podcast, The Bloom Health Club. You can catch it live on Facebook and YouTube on Mondays at 2 p.m. We take a deep dive and have extended conversations with some of the top guests that we have right here on Bloom. You can watch our podcast anytime on YouTube or listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We're helping you protect yourself. Self-defense expert David Bybee is back in studio sharing self-defense strategies and how to protect your skin from the sun's harmful rays. Stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by Tampa Bay Total Wellness.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.